Washington Interactive Theater. Soon, it will be your turn to test your leadership and decision-making skills in a crisis General Washington faced during the Revolutionary War. Here's the situation. It's December 1776, and the fate of the revolution hangs in the balance. Only 6 months earlier, Congress boldly declared independence from the Kingdom of Great Britain. But on the battlefield, General Washington's Continental Army has been badly beaten and is a fraction of its former size. As winter settles in, defeat is in the air. British Commander General Howe is confident that if any remnants of Washington's armies remain in the spring, they will be easily brushed aside. But General Washington's daring crossing of the Delaware River on Christmas night and his attack on Hessian forces in Trenton secures an unexpected American victory. The attack prompts British General Cornwallis to march a powerful army of elite troops south toward Washington's position in New Jersey. Washington secures a defensive position on the south side of the swift-flowing Assunpink Creek, hoping to draw the British into a costly assault. On the evening of January 2nd, Cornwallis and his elite troops arrive in Trenton. Unlike the first battle of Trenton, Washington now faces a larger, more experienced enemy, one intent on his total destruction. You are about to step into the boots of General Washington. As commander of the Continental Army, will you stand firm and face Cornwallis's elite troops, fall back to Philadelphia, or advance north into enemy-occupied New Jersey? Just like General Washington, you will have to make your decision under pressure as the situation continues to evolve. You will be able to seek advice from various advisors who represent people and sources General Washington would have consulted. But be aware, they will offer contradictory opinions and you will not have time to hear from everyone. It will be up to you alone to decide how strongly you agree or disagree with their advice and whether they will impact your decisions as the Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army. Now is your chance to be Washington. It's your turn to lead.
Outrages are being committed against us by these British invaders. They spare no age, sex, or political faction. Women of all ages are being brutalized. Everything portable they plunder, every cow, ox, hog, and poultry carried off, while infants, children, old men and women are left in their shirts without a blanket to cover them in the middle of winter. For the sake of your wives and children, you must destroy these tyrants in battle. Stand firm and hold your line.
General Washington, I received vital intelligence from a young gentleman operating behind enemy lines. The town of Princeton, approximately an 11-mile march from here, has a strategic vulnerability. The British have the town generally well defended, but there are no sentries on the east side, which could be approached by a little-known back road. The intelligence is a few days old now, but if we could advance towards Princeton undetected, we could then proceed with all possible expedition to the British stores at Brunswick. General Washington, I received vital intelligence from a young gentleman operating behind enemy lines.
I made a mistake that cost the lives of men. I naively insisted on defending a bad piece of terrain when I didn't need to make a stand. My fort was surrounded by the French and I was forced to surrender. The mistake cost me public scorn and almost ended my military career. Before you risk the lives of your soldiers, ask yourself, is this the right place to stand firm and hold the line?
With the last of the day's light fading, Cornwallis unleashes a series of frontal assaults on the American position.
The enemy came on in solid columns. We let them come on some ways. Then, boy signal given, we all fired together. The enemy retreated off the bridge and formed again. We were ready for our whole artillery was again discharged at them. They came on a third time. We loaded with caster shot and let them come near. We fired all together again at such a destruction it made you cannot conceive. The bridge looked red as blood with their killed and wounded redcoats.
Your Continentals fought well today, repulsing 3 determined assaults by the British. But Cornwallis's army remains a formidable foe. Tomorrow, a battle is certain. If the Americans lose, it could mean the end of the revolution. You must make a decision soon. You have 4 new advisors to hear from.
Of all ages are being
We have a strong defensive position, and I can attest that your front lines will be able to inflict heavy casualties while avoiding total defeat. Like the Battle of Bunker Hill, we may ultimately be forced to leave the field of battle. We will no doubt inflict an enormous toll on our enemy. We should stay and fight.
Sir, I just returned with the Philadelphia Light Horse from a reconnaissance patrol as far north as Princeton. If Cadwalder's intelligence is accurate, and the British have a vulnerability on the east side of town, we could approach undetected by back roads, which are free of enemy patrols. Sir, I am from this area and could help lead the army along this open path. We should take advantage of this opportunity and advance towards Princeton.
General Washington is one of your closest military confidants and head of your artillery. I must express my grave concern. A general engagement is hazardous. The army could easily be thrown into confusion or pushed to the Delaware. Sir, we are cooped up like chickens. We must retreat.
Sir, as a financier of congressional forces working diligently to provide your army.
General Washington, we observed a British scouting party exploring the shallow area near Phil's Fort. If they return, of course, I do not have the men to stop them.
If the enemy uses that crossing, they will attack our vulnerable flank and cross with the icy Delaware River at our backs.
The consequences could prove fatal.
Will the prospect of being flanked by the Redcoats affect your decision? You may seek advice from your advisors one last time, but make haste. There's little time left before the British renew their attacks.
Army winter supplies. I must warn you that if you are not near Philadelphia when heavy snowfall sets in, you could be cut off from the black.
Sir, I need not tell you that moving an army in the dead of night, especially a volunteer army, over unfamiliar roads is a grave risk. Your army is exhausted. Some of your men have marched 3 nights in a row. Others are entirely barefoot. We have a train of heavy artillery that will need to be dragged across a rough-hewn trail through dense woods. Our forces will be disordered and confused come dawn. Cornwallis's veterans will move swiftly and destroy.
Sir, I need not tell you that moving on we have a strong defensive position, and I can attest that your front lines will be able to inflict heavy casualties while avoiding total defeat. Like the Battle of Bunker Hill.
Time's up. Your advisors have spoken. This is a reflection of how much the room agreed or disagreed with their advice. As Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army, it's up to you alone to make the decision. Will you stand firm and face Cornwallis's elite troops? Will you fall back to Philadelphia? or will you advance north into enemy-occupied New Jersey? You have 10 seconds to cast your vote, starting now.
You didn't look at mine, did you?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah. You're looking at mine though, I know you are.
I already voted.
The results are in. The majority voted to advance further into enemy territory. A bold choice. Now let's find out what General Washington decided to do.
While a night march is perilous, we cannot sit in our trenches and await Cornwallis to attack. We can be flanked just as we were in Brooklyn the summer before. Nor can we retreat in the face of the enemy. This cause needs a victory, or at least a sense of initiative. Marching northeast to Princeton, New Jersey will avoid the appearance of retreat, which is of consequence. Dispatch a work party to build entrenchments near the ford. Let the nearby British sentinels believe that we are determined to stand on our ground. So, double the guards, and have them keep blazing campfires till daybreak. With any luck, our movement will be masked until dawn. Gentlemen, we march to Princeton.
General Washington chose to slip away in the middle of the night and march deeper into enemy-held territory. British General Charles Cornwallis, confident and unaware, planned his attack.
We've got the old fox safe now. We shall go over and bag him in the morning.
Thanks to the successful deception and the tireless energy of Washington's officers and soldiers, they arrived undetected at Princeton the morning of January 3rd, 1777, and attacked British forces marching south of town. Washington himself led the final charge that broke the British line and secured that one more improbable victory on the field of battle. Washington's night march to Princeton is widely considered by military experts to be one of the boldest advances in American military history, and the victories in New Jersey, combined with the ever-increasing guerrilla attacks, forced British Commander General Howe to pull his forces back towards New York City and give up the hard-won gains of 1776. Of even more historical consequence, the victories at Trenton and Princeton contributed to the growing sense within the British ranks that this was a war that could not be won, and it greatly impressed the French, who would later become America's powerful power.